Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Miriam and I am the mastermind behind Stitch Obsessed. So today I'm very excited to introduce you to my brand new quilt pattern that I've designed. You've probably seen it in the last couple of videos that I've been doing. I showed you how to do the quilting that I did on this quilt. I talked about the fabric a little bit in another video, but this is Cottage Twirl. I'm very proud of this quilt pattern. This is the first quilt pattern that I've designed specifically for my business. I've done several ghostwriting patterns where quilter has sent me a quilt pattern or a quilt design that they've made, and then I've written the pattern that goes along with it. So I write the instructions and create all the little diagrams and stuff in the pattern. So that's fairly common actually in the quilting community. I think a lot of people don't know that quilt pattern designers aren't necessarily the ones that actually write their patterns, but a lot of them are, but some of them are not. So I have done that several times, and another blog that I write for called quiltdom.com. I've talked about that a little bit. I've designed a couple of quilt patterns for that blog specifically that they have there, that they have for sale, and I do believe they have a free one as well available on that website. But this one is mine. It's completely mine, and I'm very, very excited to show it. It's a beginner quilt pattern. I wanted my first pattern to be a very beginner pattern that anyone could make. Even if you've never made a quilt before, you can make this quilt. It's got 2 quilt blocks. So this first one, this is called a 9 patch, which is literally just 9 squares sewn together into a block. And then we have the friendship star. And the friendship star is one of my favorite quilt blocks. I love the look of it. It's a very traditional quilt block, but to me, it's kind of modern looking. And I love the movement that it creates on the quilt top. And I don't know, I just really like this block. I've always liked it ever since I first saw one. So I wanted to include that on the pattern. So the entire quilt is made, I'll scoot out of the way here, using just those 2 blocks. The fabric that I used for the example quilt is Tara Reed's new collection called Happy at Home that she did for Riley Blake Designs. Now, the reason why, let me get my chair back over here. The reason why I wanted to do a free quilt pattern was, one, I wanted to have a free quilt pattern available on my blog. A lot of quilters do that, and that's just something that I wanted to offer, and it's not going to be the only free quilt pattern I'm going to do. I'm going to do other ones. Another reason why I wanted to create this quilt pattern was because I got a really cool opportunity to write a blog post for Riley Blake Designs blog. This was a very big deal for me. I was very, very excited about it, and I wanted to create something special to be released along with that blog post. Since it's my first blog post for them, I really wanted to do something special. So I designed this pattern. I'm very, very excited about it. It is a free quilt pattern, and it will always be free. I'm not going to ever charge for this pattern, and it's available on my website. I'm going to include a link where you can go and you just put in your first name and your email, and then you can have access to the pattern. You can either download it right there, or if you give me your email address, then I will actually email you a copy of the pattern as well, if that's easier for you. So I'm very excited about this pattern. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to show you a few clips of how I created the blocks using a chain piecing method. And that method just kind of helps the block making process a little quicker. You don't have to use that. Also kind of give you a sneak peek of what the pattern looks like inside. A lot of quilters I've noticed when they release a free quilt pattern, the pattern is very, very basic. They assume you know how to do everything, and it's just a very basic 1 or 2 page pattern. And that's totally fine. That's what they want to do. A lot of times the pattern's very simple where they can do that. But I really wanted to create my free quilt pattern to be accessible and easy to follow, even for a brand new beginner quilter. So my pattern is 8 pages long, I do believe. I also include a coloring page at the end of the quilt pattern that you can use to try out different colors. So it'll be the layout the same, but then you can color in different colors. So if you want to use like pinks and purples or greens and grays or something, you can try out that, and you can print out that coloring page as many times as you want and try out different colors for that. And I really like when someone includes the a coloring page at the end, because you can kind of play around with the colors. And also, let me show you real quick. I have printed out the coloring page that I used in my last video. I will link that up in the cards up here, I think. And that's the video where I show you how to do this really cool free motion quilting design that I did on the quilt. So I printed out my coloring page here. As you can see, the finished quilt is going to be 66 inches by 78 inches. So it's a really nice big throw size quilt. So, but what I like to do also with coloring pages is I like to plan out my quilting design on them. So here you can see I practiced my design that you can see on the quilt. So that's another really good use for these coloring pages. So I really wanted to include that in the quilt. Every single quilt pattern that I'm going to release from here on out is going to have a coloring page in it, because I just think that's a really valuable inclusion that quilters should have in their quilt patterns. Anyways, I'm very excited to show you guys this. I'm going to go through and show you like a screenshot, like a screen scrolling of what the quilt pattern looks like, so you can kind of get a sneak peek, so you can see if it would be worth downloading. So thank you so much to everyone who has been so extremely supportive through this whole process that I've been going through of trying to get my business up and going. It's been a little slow, but I am determined to make it work, and I'm very excited for the opportunities that I've been given, and I really hope you love this pattern. If you have any questions about the pattern, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Just thank you so much. If you do end up downloading the pattern and making it, I would love to see it. You can, I think in the pattern, I have included my email address and where you can find me on Instagram. So if you make the quilt, please tag me, send me a picture of it in an email. I would love to see it. I'm just really excited to see what other people do with the pattern and what they make and everything. And I'm already planning on making another one, just because it was a really fun pattern to make, and it came together very quickly. I think it took me from start to finish to make the entire quilt probably took less than, I would say, definitely less than 20, maybe around like 17 hours, which really is not very long for a quilt. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the pattern, and just thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!